Hi, everybody. Good morning. Mestre Sukuri, Capoeira Tokyo, coming to you this morning with episode number 3 on the path of Capoeira. Honestly, I didn't think I would be doing one each day for the last 3 days, but I guess I had a lot of pent up things to say, and here they are. But, trying to doing it as best as I can. Today, I want to talk about something that I think is kind of interesting. First, I really appreciate all the people who are supporting here. Thank you so much. And one of our supporters here, Vaquero, he asked me an interesting question, and we talk a lot on internet and through social media. He had asked me, what's the biggest challenge that I have with working with media? First of all, I want to say the reason he's asking me, because he's also recorded a Capoeira CD. He is non-Brazilian, and I'll be honest with you, the CD was fantastic. The recording quality was really well done. Maybe some people might think different, but I really liked it. And we were talking a lot about the challenges overall with his project and the challenges that I've run into on my projects. But I'll go step by step. So maybe if you're thinking about recording music, then you can have a little bit of something to think about. First, I would say the hardest thing for me, challenging-wise here in Japan, is that Japan is not a DIY country. Space is very limited, especially if you live here in Tokyo. Recording studios are incredibly difficult to build for yourself at your own place. And for example, if I wanted to have a home studio, even here in my spacious academia, it's difficult because I run out of space really quick. So even when I'm doing my podcast, using the noise gate and then I take it into my mastering software. And in that mastering software it's an AI mastering software, and it's called Cloud Bounce. I use that, and actually after I record this, it takes me about another 5 to 10 minutes just to get all that done. And these are other softwares that I pay for. So, that we pay for it, because I'm using what I use from here to create stuff. When I see people recording, for example, especially in the States, because I have a lot of friends who do stuff, it's so easy to go down to like Home Depot and basically build your own beautiful do-it-yourself in-home studio. So I know several people who have those. Also, access to students who might have access to like university sound recording studios, or people who are doing music degrees. And I really don't run into that in my position here in Japan. So getting a good recording studio session is probably one of my biggest challenges. Vamos que vamos, I went to the practice rooms that they have here. Like you can rent out, and it has drum kits and has everything, and they're pretty quiet, but they still have, mirrors. So setting up the microphones to get a really dead sound that you want for recording, I guess that's my biggest challenge. If I were to get an engineer and whatnot and do all that, it would be way beyond my means to do that. It would be a big investment, and I don't know if it's worth it for the return on what I can get. But that's another story. Also, when I'm doing media, for example, over the last couple months, I've been studying a lot of how to use the gimbal and how to use my iPhone to record videos. So sometimes there's so much information out there on YouTube on how to, that one of the challenges for a person, especially for me, is that there's too much out there. So sometimes I'm overwhelmed with too many ideas. So I have to sit down and really think, how do I want to record this video? I don't want to use every single technique, because then you end up with a hodgepodge or a montage of just a lot of different things that don't really work well together. So after this podcast today, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write out some ideas, a storyboard for the first video that I want to record. And I just finished this video, this song. I'm going to play a little bit for you guys here. So give me a second so I can just edit. And you guys can hear, this is going to be a sample of what I'm going to be doing for my first video. Okay, there's still a lot to do on the song, and there's still some beating bows I want to add, some freestyle stuff, and that's going to take a little bit of time, but I think that's all going to come together really nicely. And then I have an idea for making it into a video itself, right? Later, I don't know what I'll do with the song. I might add lyrics, but for the meantime, my goal is to do something very artistic to show the base of what I love of Afro-Brazilian dance and capoeira, and do something just to make, to put a smile on everybody's face and hopefully to inspire. Okay, so back to the question of what are the challenges? Well, I think the hardest challenge, like I said, is always going to be that, when you do things yourself. Here in Japan, people's time, people energy, moving around, it's really difficult to get people committed or to ask. It's not like back home where you ask your friend, right? Hey, can you help me out Saturday morning? People don't really tend to do that here. I do, and I will, because, I've just got the greatest people around me, but I also want to be very organized so as not to waste anybody's time. So for me also, having not been brought up in a computer literate world, I've always used computers, but not like people who know how to use all the different apps and everything. So the greatest challenge so far for me has been just time. I have to study a lot. Video production, video editing, how to set up a storyboard, music, recording, to put out the Mestre Vibes video. The Mestre Vibes CD. That was a lot of work, and it took a lot of energy because I really had to learn how to arrange, record, carrying the the instruments back and forth to the recording, the sound studio, and then mixing, editing, finding the software. It's a lot. Designing. I use a design software called Kittl, Kittl. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. It's about $15 US a month, but it's got so many great options that I don't even need Photoshop anymore, and I cancel that. I also use the Cloud Bounce to master. Some people might say you don't really get a difference, but I can hear the difference, and that's what's more important for me. I use iMovie and GarageBand to do all my recording stuff. So I'm getting all that done, and it took time to learn how to do all that, right? I mix, I do everything myself. And to be honest, though, I don't see it so much as a challenge, so much as I just got to get it done. And I've really been able to enjoy it, so I can't complain. It's having to produce your own material, seeing your own videos. Then you have nobody to complain about except yourself, because you see what you're doing. You hear how you're playing. You can't say, oh, I didn't do a good job, because once it's out there, it's done. You can't take it back. You can remaster, you can re-edit, you can record again, but really it's out there, right? Same as writing a book. Oh, I didn't even talk about writing a book. Writing a book was another challenge. Writing 2 books, The Path of Capoeira and Capoeira Fire, that I believe I released last year. All of this stuff takes a lot of energy, right? But at the end of the day, time is the most important thing. So I have no problem taking out a little bit of time and putting, researching. For example, I can't remember what the software was. I think it was Fiverr, the online page, and I sent my book to get formatted through there because it cost me like $100, but it saved me hours and hours and hours of time going through there or asking for favors. One thing I never really liked that in the capoeira world, it's always like kind of like on the teacher side, you're always asking for favors. You're always asking people to do things for you for free. And I guess that's fine, but like it's not really something I feel comfortable doing. I did because I thought that was the only way to get through. But as I'm older now, I really value people's time, and I really hope people will value mine. So if, in conclusion, the most difficult challenges that I've had is just, facilities, having a place to record. I have so many ideas. I can do another 100 podcasts right off the, the tip of my head. Like I can tip of my tongue. I know what I want to say. This one I'm doing here today is already leading into the next one I'm going to do, and I'll have that released on Monday. And that one, episode 4, would be how do I define my capoeira success? How do I define my success as a mestre of capoeira, both financially and spiritually, and how I run my academia? So I'll discuss a little bit about that, put some points out there on the next podcast coming up here. I'll probably put it out tomorrow morning. So, who am I fooling? I'll probably put it out later today because that's just the way I am. I put it out there when it comes out, when it's done, because I'm not really a person who can keep to a schedule. But that's why I like doing it here on Patreon. Patreon's awesome, right? I'm doing it for people who directly want to hear or want to see what I'm doing. Cool. I'm going to be going through some costume stuff today, and I'll be putting a little video up of costumes I'm prepping for the video. Challenges, right? Space here in Japan. Challenges of learning how to do everything myself. Challenges of asking people to help. Challenges of editing. Challenges of designing, directing, everything. But they're all challenges, right? And challenges are what's going to make me stronger and make me a better artist and a better master. So that's where it is. Vaquero, I hope that really, this is a special podcast, especially for you. I hope other people can hear some things here. And if you have any questions about what I'm looking at or any of the stuff, like what software, drop me an email. Guys, thank you so much for always listening. And this is On the Path of Capoeira, number 3. Number 4 coming up soon.